Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Plenty of Manchester United news to get stuck into today on Mason Mount, Jadon Sancho. So get involved with your own opinions as usual, and we'll try and discuss some of them throughout today's video. But aside from them two, which we'll get onto later on in the video, Scott McTominay, did you see the videos of him being welcomed enthusiastically? I
did see him, and if you've got time, go and see him, because he's in shock when he got off that plane. He never expected that. For me, enthusiastically welcomed. Some United fans going over the top and saying he got a hero's welcome. Well, you know, everyone knows I like Scott McTominay. Thought he was a great squad player. Never thought he'd go to Napoli, but there he is. Hero worship, hero welcome. No, enthusiastic welcome. That's what he received, and his face was absolutely shocked. I hope it succeeds for him. So good luck to him, and his medicals today should pass that, and then signs for him tomorrow. So good luck to him.
Yeah, Man United might need him back though, because I don't know if you've seen the reports. Mark Critchley from The Athletic has come out and said that Mason Mount will be out for a minimum of 4 to 5 weeks for Manchester United. Another injury blow, fresh setback for Mason Mount. The kid can't catch a break, can he?
No, he can't catch a break. I feel really sorry for him there. He's done his best. He had a full pre-season there. He looked as though he was fit, raring to go. Couple of games he's played for United, start of the season, and I thought, here we go, he's in, he's overcome these injuries. But I have been saying for a long time, player like this, his injury record, it just keeps repeating and repeating, and other things keep happening. I think it's like a leg muscle or something. He's got calf strain. That does not sound good. A full pre-season for him, and he picks up that. I mean, something is seriously wrong, in my opinion, with Mason Mount. I'm gutted for him. I thought he had to challenge. We need players to come in and challenge for other positions, and I thought he was going to make a good run at it. This is a big setback, and it's going to be difficult for him to get back. I just think this is going to continue.
The thing is, as well, his actual role in the team as well, in Ten Hag, in the way he wants him to play, like high up the pitch, intensity, to try and get the ball back and like basically cut out the attacks from the opposition as well. And if he's got calf problems, muscle strains, hamstrings, which he's out for now with a hamstring injury, I mean, that don't bode well going forward, does it?
No,
let's be honest.
It don't bode well at all. Erik Ten Hag clearly has him in his plans, got a role for him, has put him in the side, worked on him, and it just looks as though he was ready to go, and a little bit more of a push, and there we'd see the Mason Mount, what I think there's a player in him. But Erik Ten Hag must be disappointed here, and it has messed the plans up, because he had a role for him. And Mason Mount, I tell you what, by Christmas, he has to be back firing, and if it happens again, I fear the worst for him. This latest news for him is a devastating blow. A lot of people out there aren't sure about Mason Mount. I like the player, but the injuries have really given him setbacks, and this really could be the start of the downfall of Mason Mount. That's how I look at it, because it's going to be tough for him to get back in this team and get fully fit. And then when he does get in the side, will he be fit?
Yeah, question for you all out there. Should Ineos, Erik Ten Hag and all the staff go back in and get the checkbook out and see if there's any midfielders available? Because if you look at it body-wise, you know, Agati's coming, he's replaced Amrabat, we sold Scott McTominay, now Mason Mount's out, so we're down 2 midfield players now going into the rest of the season.
Well, we've got about 30 hours, maybe a little bit less, I'm not too sure. Maybe they will have to go and get somebody, because we need competition in the side. At least 2 people for every place. People out there aren't sure even where Mason Mount fits in the side, but Mason Mount is in Erik Ten Hag's plans. So if he's in his plans, we need someone to replace him, and this could go on. So 30 hours less, maybe, in the transfer window. Go and get someone, just on a loan or something. It has to be done. That's how I see it. We want a full squad. We want a strong squad, and we want competition for places. And this is just, as far as I can see, this has blown a hole in Erik Ten Hag's plans going forward.
Yeah, Verdo says, I hope Ineos have a good plan to say goodbye to Sancho. Sterling can go to Ipswich, which brings me on to Jadon Sancho. A lot of noise around him in the last couple of days, even today, that he could possibly be leaving Manchester United. What's your thoughts?
Possibly leaving. Look, as far as I'm concerned, get him out of the club. Just get him out of the club. We need people like Sancho removed. There's still 1 or 2 more what need removing. But Sancho, look, he played in the shop window in the pre-season. That's what he was there for. All this talk about always apologising. That never happened. United know exactly why they brought him, why they talked like that, has always apologised. Him and Erik ten Hag are getting on. No, they're not getting on. Clearly not getting on. Took him all the way to Brighton, didn't even put him on the bench. He has got to go. I don't want him, and I'm sure Erik ten Hag and the rest of the squad don't want Jadon Sancho walking round the training ground, sulking like he does. He's got to go. He's been a flop from the moment he's got here, as far as I'm concerned, and he has to go. Just get him out. I just think tomorrow, maybe last day of the transfer window, I think they'll just get a loan deal. And to be honest with you, I even think Borussia Dortmund might even come back in for him, get a loan, and United will end up paying most of the wages. That's how it is. That's the problem. They're never going to sell him. Never going to sell him.
A lot of talk, though, around Sterling, though, in a bit of a swap deal with Jadon Sancho. For me, personally, I don't see what benefit that brings to United with Raheem Sterling. We discussed it the other day about him coming out before Chelsea's game against City with a statement that him and his camp that basically aren't happy with the situation, etc. And we don't need another bad apple, well, one replacing with another one coming back to Manchester United. Is he going to really give any real competition as well to Marcus Rashford? Yeah, he's not in the form of his life, Marcus Rashford. We all know that. But is Sterling much better? Is he on the decline? For me, he is.
Look, people out there know that I can be a bit grumpy at times, okay? It's been mentioned not once, but probably 1,000 times.
I've never mentioned that. I've never said that to you.
No, I can be grumpy. But yesterday, I was going into a meltdown yesterday with all the people coming out about Sterling, Sancho, the swap deal and all that. It's a joke, an absolute joke. So Jim Ratcliffe and Brailsford come into this club and said, I'm going to change. I'm going to change everything. And that means the age of the player, the type of player, the personality of the player. I'm not doing this. I'm not going for Galacticos. I'm not going for older players. Sterling is over the hill as far as I'm concerned. And the wages he's on is ridiculous. He thinks he's bigger than Chelsea by coming out with a statement. And a swap deal, you're getting one problem for another problem. That's all you're doing, just swapping a problem. And anyone what really believes that this was on has to look at themselves and go, hang on, what did Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Brailsford say? It's all change at Man United. We're not going down this route. And to be honest, all it's got is eyeballs and clicks and all that out there in the big world. But for me, I just had a meltdown. I cannot believe that it's even up for discussion.
From the reports that I've seen, you take for a pinch of salt. But with the Raheem Sterling swap, I've seen it's more of an idea from Dan Ashworth than it is from Erik ten Hag. Now, what do you think to that? Do you think there is people inside Manchester United who fancy the idea of that being a swap deal?
Well, I look at it from face value, how I see things and that, and you say take it with a pinch of salt. I take that with a bag of salt. Okay, a full bag of salt down the throat. Okay,
you might need a glass of water with that,
right? Because I won't be able to speak afterwards. Dan Ashworth looking at it. No, I don't see that. It's not what we was promised. We was promised change by Ineos and that, and I can't see it. So this report, what you're quoting there, for me, I just think it's someone just saying things for saying things' sake. Not a chance, as far as I can see. I might be proved wrong. I might have egg on my face and that. But if you honestly believe that Raheem Sterling, okay, is fit to come to Man United on them wages and that attitude and get rid of Jadon Sancho to Chelsea and then replace him with this Raheem Sterling, I just don't know what the world's coming to if this happens.
Well, let's look at it from another point of view then, because I've seen people mention it, that Raheem Sterling's are, well, better than what we've already got on the wings. So you've got Rashford there, Anthony, Garnacho, Ahmad. Is Raheem Sterling better than the players we've already got? Let me know what you think, Howler.
Okay, I look at it like this, right? Man United are building for the future, okay? Raheem Sterling's not for the future. He's not even the future of Chelsea. They don't even believe that he can take them further, improve them, get them to a winning ways and that. So Manchester United are looking for young, enthusiastic players. You look at all the players what we've signed. They all want to come to Manchester United. They all want to believe in the project. Raheem Sterling coming to Manchester United won't believe in the project. Raheem Sterling will just look after himself and is there for himself. No different than what Jadon Sancho is. There's a project going on here, and Raheem Sterling is not going to take Manchester United to the top. We've got young players coming in. We've got another transfer window in January. We might bring some more in. We might bring some more in September. But Raheem Sterling is not the future, and he's not the plan for where Ineos want to go going forward with Manchester United. That's how I see it, and a lot of Manchester United fans see it that way.
Yeah, I keep saying that only Sterling is interested in is pound sterling, not for me, and I totally get that one, mate. It's a good one. Damien Walsh says, why let Sancho go on loan? Just sell him. Can't be paying his wages while he's playing for another team, and yeah, I get a huge problem, isn't there, with Sancho? It's not that he's just not performing on the pitch, it's his wages as well.
It's his wages. United can't sell him. I said it a long time ago, and I've said it many times. There is no way anyone is coming in to buy Jadon Sancho. If they were coming in to buy Jadon Sancho, they would have started looking at him a couple of months ago, not coming at the depth. They're trying to pinch him, okay? They're trying to get him on a loan, right, where they pay about £40,000-50,000 of his wages. That's what they're looking at. No one's looking, and no one has been looking at paying the money what Manchester United want. If it's to be believed, United want £40 million, they are in cuckoo land, because I've said it, and I don't see how anyone can look at Jadon Sancho and go, this is a great investment, £40 million and £300,000 a week wages. Who's out there daft enough to pay that? And I've said it, nobody.
Chelsea. But by all reports, you know, Juventus are interested in him, maybe with a loan with an obligation to buy at the end of the season. And, you know, with Chelsea, the only way I can look at this as a deal for Sancho for Sterling from a Man United point of view is financially, and that's if the Chelsea were willing to sell Sterling for, let's say, £15 million, and Man United could get £40 million, and let's say the fee for Sterling could be spread over 2 to 3 years, where Man United could get that £40 million kind of up front or the season after with an obligation to buy.
Yeah, I have to look at Chelsea and sort of say, well, right, could he go to Chelsea? Well, they've got 40-odd first-team players there, and they're trying to get rid of players. There is many better players what are in that first team better than Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho hasn't done anything at Manchester United. Absolutely nothing. What anyone out there can say, hey, that was a good game, and that was a good month he played football, and he did this and he did that. There is many better players who aren't in the first team at Chelsea right now than Jadon Sancho. And a blind man, to be honest with you, could see that.
Jadon Sancho, by reports, though, is saying that he's holding out, though, for Chelsea.
He will do. He wants to go back to London. He'd love it. He'd love it, get nearer his family. That's where he's from. Yeah. He'd love to be in London. London suits him. He'd be able to, like, sleep in at home and go to work, get driven to work, you know what I mean, from his house. So, at the end of the day, it suits Jadon Sancho to go there. There's no upheaval. If he went to Juventus, I'm looking at the Juventus thing, they're coming in late. They're trying to do a steal. That's clear as far as I'm concerned. It's a steal what they're trying to do. And all this talk about with an obligation to buy at the end of the season, no, not for me. I don't see that happening at all. So for me, Juventus just coming in to steal. Well, if Jadon Sancho went to Juventus, he would have to perform week in, week out. He'd have to prove himself. Them Italians would not let him rest. They would be right on him. So for me, Jadon Sancho isn't up to it, and I don't think he would do it in the Italian league. But that's my personal opinion on what I've seen from Jadon Sancho here at Manchester United. And
I am actually surprised with it as well, with the manager that they've got now, Juventus. Thiago Motta, who was the manager at Bologna. Xerxes was there as well.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how he fits in his team, especially the way they work on the pitch as well. I mean, I just don't see it.
I don't see it. I think when he was at Borussia Dortmund, I think they looked at him as like a luxury player. They let him sort of like wander in his position and that. And when you talk about Jadon Sancho, the funny thing about it all is, you know, I've recently heard, he come to Manchester United. And this is from pundits. This is from people what you see on the TV and around. And they go, Jadon Sancho, his best position is left wing. But when he came to left wing, Marcus Rashford was there. I don't understand that. And then he's on the right. Nah, not for me. Just not for me.
Well, Solskjaer said in an interview a while back, didn't he, that they bought him for the right wing, but when he got to United, he was saying basically, I prefer the left wing. And, you know, that's what the culture's been like at Manchester United, where players have dictated to where they want to play on the pitch, instead of the manager and the staff telling the players, well, if you're not playing there, you're out. the door, son. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it was a bad buy in the first place. We all know that, right? But to bring in a player and then a player sort of say, well, I want to play on the left. That's my favourite position. Yeah. Surely the people what seen him, tracked him and thought he's a good player, okay, seen him on the right and thought, right, this is the player we need. This is the work. This is the style we want him. He'll fit in on the right. And then he comes, just a bad attitude all round. It has not worked out and it's been an embarrassment all round. An embarrassment for the people what bought him, himself, and everyone who's turned around and tried to back him and defend him, because there is no defending Jadon Sancho in any way whatsoever. He's had everything given to him at United. They've backed him, they've helped him, and what's he done in return? He's not spoken one word, as far as I can see, since he's come back to Manchester United. Not one word. No praise, no nothing, no enthusiasm, nothing. This man, to me, is one of the biggest flops we've ever had at Man United.
Yeah, with Mason Mount being injured, obviously losing Scott McTominay as well to Napoli. A few comments come in earlier on mentioning, should we go back in and try and get Amrabat to come into the midfield? I think Rabiot, someone mentioned as well earlier on, but...
I think getting Amrabat wouldn't be a bad idea anyway, even before Mount was injured. I think for the price what you'd pay for him right now, today, tomorrow, it'd be cheap and it'd be good cover and it'd add to the squad. He had injuries when he was at United. He didn't have a full run at it. He was even played out of position quite a few times. We always remember the European game. Played well and then he made a mistake by keeping him on side and they scored a goal. But hey, he would be a good addition to the squad. And that's how I look at it. The squad needs beefing up. Mount, it's okay, I'm saying 4 weeks, 4 games or whatever it is.
4 or 5 weeks minimum.
Well, it's going to take a lot longer for him to get a place in the team, and we need people as backup. So getting Amrabat, for me, over Rabiot is the option. I think he'd fit in well. He's been here at United. We know that. So he'd just slot right in. And I think you'll see a different player who's fully fit, because I don't think he was fully fit when he come to United. He had injury problems and that beforehand. And I think they continued. So Amrabat, for me, all day long, it's a no-brainer.
We've been talking about a different player, Casemiro. He clearly looks a lot leaner than he did last season. But when you get players who are reaching his age, going over that 30 mark, they tend to drop back a bit deeper, don't they? Especially if they're a forward, like we've seen with Wayne Rooney in the past, going from a centre-forward role to a midfield role. The midfielders going back into a deeper role, or sometimes playing as centre-halves. But with Casemiro this season, he's actually playing further up the pitch. Well, now, I know he's a threat from set pieces with his headers, etc. But Ten Hag's like, no, you're not dropping further deeper. You're going up the pitch, lad. Go and get in the faces and start creating things. Well, is that the best position for him, though, Casemiro, instead of just sitting deep?
There's a lot to talk about Casemiro, to be honest with you, because pre-season and that, I looked at him, he'd just come back, he looked leaner, looked sharper, looked fit. Yeah. But to me, it's clear that his legs have gone. And with him going forward, you can clearly see in the 2 games he's played that he can't get back. That's not his position, and we need him there. Now, if you look at Casemiro at the beginning...
But the top players, though, it doesn't matter whether they played for United, other teams, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, etc. Once players, legs go, so to call it, that's when the positioning comes into play. Yeah. And that's when they need to adapt. So they save the legs, save their energy, and they take up the best positions. So surely he has to do that now, Casemiro.
I don't think he can do it. I think if you look, we're in the Premier League, it's fast. He hasn't got time to adapt. And once your legs have gone, you're unable to adapt. Unless he was a centre-half, and we've seen him at centre-half, and he doesn't adapt to that. I just think his legs have gone, and it's caught up with him. But I look at the start of the season, lots of talk about Casemiro being transferred over to Saudi and somewhere else and that. But you've got to remember, and people got to remember this, that Saudi transfer window doesn't shut till October. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Casemiro can adapt, if getting dropped for a few games would help him continue playing football, and that his work rate and his legs haven't gone. But that window is still open in Saudi in October. So you just never know going down the line. things might change with Casemiro, where it's quite clear that he can't run, he can't chase back, and he's turning. Once he starts turning and doing them slide tackles and jumping in because he can't get back, you'll see the same thing again. And once you start seeing that, then that's the sign to say, let's have him out. Let's see if we can get rid of him, because he's too slow when he turns. At the moment, you're not really seeing that. It's only 2 games in, but getting booked, getting sent off, that's the danger with Casemiro once his legs have gone. And he clearly, for I can see, his legs have gone.
Yeah, a lot of people not fancying the idea of bringing Rabiot back to, not back to Manchester United, but a few people are mentioning Amrabat to bring him back. And also people, Chelsea are laughing at Manchester United with taking £60 million off us for Mason Mount. And it's going to be a problem if this keeps reoccurring as well with injuries, because who wants to buy an injured player as well? I think you can always look back with hindsight, but I looked at Mason Mount when we signed him for £60 million. Yes, Chelsea are laughing at the moment. But if you go back to Mason Mount, I think there was some serious problems there with his medicals and that, and how they never sort of questioned his injury record with his hip and all that. It just goes from one injury while you're looking after it, you're nursing that, and then something else happens. I think there's a serious questions to be looked at of how he actually passed his medical. It's just like that. Anthony Martial, that's what was happening.
I was just about to say Anthony Martial.
One injury after the other, the body just starts breaking down.
People used to go on about Anthony Martial. Sell him, sell him, sell him. You could never sell Anthony Martial because we all knew he would never pass a medical. Anthony Martial, if he lasted 2 weeks, he was very, very lucky playing football, and then he was out again. And Mason Mount, really, this medical, what he had to get him signed, there has to be questions. Not at the moment. Then you have to just see what goes on with Mason Mount. I've got my fingers crossed for him. I think Erik ten Hag wants him back. He had him there in the squad, had him playing, and he was going to be pivotal going forward. But now there's a gap, and Erik ten Hag now has to go out and get somebody. Just talking about Amrabat and Rabiot there. Rabiot there was the easiest signing to do this summer. Free agent, still not signed up. Carnage around him. We said it the other year when there was talk about him. That didn't bode well when we listened to United talking about Rabiot last time, with his mother being the agent and all that. But Rabiot was the easiest signing anyone could have done this year. So there is a big, big problem. I don't know what it is surrounding Rabiot. So
maybe it's attitude and stuff like that. I think it's his mum, the agent, like you said. I think there's carnage there in the background and too much of an influence there from the agent, his mum, inside the clubs. And, you know, he's probably got a big ego himself, Rabiot, like most of the footballers, the millionaires. But Batman Knight says we need to find another striker, lads. Obviously, there's a lot of talk around Ivan Toney. I don't think Manchester United will be making a late bid for Ivan Toney, but let me know if you think we should do or if Man United will do.
Well, I've got a look at Ivan Toney today. Thomas Frank came out, the Brentford manager, said that he's not playing on Saturday. He's not in the squad, but he's training well. I like him. I get on with him. He didn't want to go any further with his comments about what the future holds for him. But Ivan Toney is clearly there. So has his head been turned? Does he want out? There's no comment coming out from that. But we all know from last year, his interviews he gave while he wasn't playing, he had his eyes on Arsenal. That's what he fancied. But that option's well gone. Talk of Chelsea, talk of Man United. Now, there's only a few hours to go. Who knows what's going on? Dan Ashworth might be having a little chat and might have a cheeky punt. And I wouldn't say no to a cheeky punt for Ivan Toney, OK? He's a striker. We need strikers. We need goals. There's 2 strikers we've got there. They're both different in the type of the way they play. So bringing Ivan Toney in with a cheeky bid, give him a 3-year contract, I don't see anything wrong with that.
You can have the best striker in the world, but if the midfield, the wide players aren't feeding the strike and creating chances...
No, I agree with you. I mean, our midfield, we've got a holding midfielder now in Ugarte. He should be signed today. That should be all confirmed. With a bit of luck, he might be in this squad, might even play. What a boost that would be for everybody playing against Liverpool. Yeah. But it is the midfield. And like you say...
We had another midfielder a few years back, Anderson, the Brazilian. when he went and made his first start. Was it his first start against Liverpool away? I always just remember that game at Anfield, though, and I think it was his best performance in the United shirt.
Probably, yeah.
But, yeah, it'd be great to see Ugarte at least on the bench, just to soak up the atmosphere, get a feel of what it's like as well, and what better game to do that.
Yeah, you can't have a better game. It is the game, the big game, and for him to come in, sit on the bench, you know, it'd be fantastic for him. But you just never know in football what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's been training. Yes, he's not been playing for PSG. You just don't know. And if he did start, that'd be absolutely fantastic, especially for the crowd and that. And let's see how he is. But Casemiro, if Ugarte did start, I think he'd pull a face. He would. He'd pull a face.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much to think that Ugarte and Casemiro can start in the same midfield. Why not? We've always said about having legs around Casemiro and then let him do what he needs to do as well, getting forward. I think we will see that combination throughout the season, and it also gives Manu a rest as well. Let's face it, he's only a young lad. His first full Premier League season last season. Manu's
not being rested against Liverpool.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
Not in this game, but I mean, like, you know.
No, I think the three of them. I think the three will combine. Yeah. Casemiro, Ugarte, and Manu. There will be one of them dropped. There will be people rested, but that's down to the manager to get right. And the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, he has to get it right this season, Erik ten Hag. Right. So there's problems here for Erik ten Hag. He has to look at it, deal with it. But hey, that's why he's the manager. He's got people behind him now, helping him, consulting with him. But he's the one with the final say. So he has to get it right. And this bringing in Ugarte, big problems for him. One mistake and everyone's on him. We all know that. So Erik ten Hag, this year, whatever you do, do it and do it right.
Yeah, Jam United, where's the money coming from to buy more players if we had to sell Scott to sign Ugarte?
Well, I look at the players what we've sold. Okay, you go from the top, Scott McTominay, right down to the bottom. Donny van der Beek, I think we got 400,000 for Donny van der Beek. What a come down that is, but hey, it's £400,000. I think we might have raked in about £90 million.
To be honest with you, you're mentioning Van der Beek. You know, there might be comparisons in the next 12 to 18 months with him and Mason Mount. You know, in terms of career. Yeah. Because his career's just not got started at all, Mason Mount.
Yeah, in terms of the career, you might have got that. Donny van der Beek to Mason Mount. It just might be. It does happen. Yeah. But I think we've roped in, going back to the transfers and that, I think we've roped in a lot of money. I did look, 90 million, I might be wrong. I only had a quick glance. So we've pulled in some money. But when you look at the start of the transfer window, no way did I expect this amount of money to be spent. I did expect a few other players to be out. I never expected Christian Eriksen to still be here. Now, he still might go. But he now is a vital squad player. Vital squad player. Yeah. That's how I look at it. Right at this moment, if we don't bring anybody in. So for me, Sancho has to go. There's one person, when I look at Sancho, is a flop. And I did say when we first started, he's not the only one to go. I have to pinpoint Anthony here, okay? He's a flop at the moment. I expected more for him. I thought he was going to put it in. Mm-hmm. But at least Anthony has come out and recognised that it wasn't going well for him.
That things to put it right.
That things weren't wrong. Okay, there's a difference with Anthony, and when I look at Sancho's not interested. Okay, but Anthony has come out and he's saying he's going to fight. He's pinpointed.
He actually said that you're going to hear his name a lot more attached to assists and goals.
Yeah,
and you know he's come out and said that. You know, fair enough, but you know we don't want to hear words. Let's have it right. We want to see it on the pitch.
Yeah, we want to see it on the pitch, but the season's only just started, okay? But what I'm saying to you is from the point of view of Anthony, as far as I'm concerned, and probably this channel, this is his season, Anthony. He either does it or United look to get rid of him at the end of the season, because if he doesn't perform and he's come out with all the words, right, what everyone wants to hear, and hope that Anthony gets it done, and fully backs up his words, and if he doesn't, then at the end of the season he has to go, because you can't waste. And I don't think Ineos are going to waste time on players.
Well, they shouldn't do 2 years, and if you're not pulling your weight, you're not performing. After 2 seasons, I mean, how long do you want to give a player? It's not a graveyard.
Well, it's not a welfare office.
No, it's not. This channel's definitely not one either.
Yeah, no, this channel definitely ain't a welfare office. I can guarantee you on that one, right? But the thing is, I'm sick to death of people making excuses for players, okay? The footballers, they know what to do, and if they can't do it, and you give them a chance, and then you give them one more, everyone deserves a chance, okay? And that's why I believe Anthony has got this chance this year, okay? But you can only have so many chances. And like I say, it's not a welfare office. The footballers, they know what to do. Anthony, this is his last year. Jadon Sancho should have gone 18 months ago, possibly 2 years ago, and we've kept hold of him and not been able to get rid of him. Will we be able to get rid of Anthony if he doesn't perform this year? Now, there's a question you need to answer, because I'm not sure whether we would get anything for Anthony at this moment in time. And if he flopped, big problems moving him on.
A lot of people mentioning, as you're discussing, Anthony, Marcus Rashford as well. Huge season for Rashford.
Well, huge season for Marcus Rashford. I mean, news today about the England squad, and I couldn't believe what they were talking about. Marcus Rashford left out of the squad.
As though he should be in the squad.
Well, he's not in the squad.
I know. Yeah.
He's not in the squad. He's not been in the squad. So you're only left out if you're in the squad, if you've been in the squad. Marcus Rashford's not been in the squad because he's not been performing for Manchester United. And Marcus Rashford has to perform. He's not done well these 2 games amongst the fans. The opinion amongst the fans, they're not happy. We're not happy. He has to do it. And I don't want to see that face walking around as though it's miserable. Someone going out on the pitch, you're playing for Manchester United, should have a face enthusiastic, happy and all that. We're not seeing that from Marcus Rashford. So, left out the England squad. He was never in it. People are making excuses and have been making excuses for Marcus Rashford. He has to turn it on Sunday. I still think Erik ten Hag will start him, to be honest with you. But he has to turn it on. And if he doesn't turn it on and put the effort in and make it as though like you're supposed to go out and enjoy your football. If you're not enjoying your football, do one. And that goes for anyone. If you're not enjoying your football, do one.
Yeah.
Don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste anyone's time. Move on.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, they can't even get in the England squad, but people out there want to replace Jadon Sancho with Raheem Sterling, another one who can't get in the England squad. Yeah. But I'm just going to leave it there. Thanks everyone for joining us in the chat. It's been absolutely popping off in there. Loads of different opinions as usual, and that is what it's all about. Continue the conversation as well in the comment section below. Support the channel as well and support today's video by smashing that like button.
Smash it.
And we'll be back tomorrow with another video, so get that notification on. And you have a great day wherever you're joining us from, and take care. Thank you.
Thank you.